information before we can think about bids. We need a couple more proposals, and we need to hammer out what we want for a system before we can think about it. Throwing out bids.
We have to have specifications. What we want, we have to specify what we want.
If we just say we're accepting bids for sound and video equipment, there could be a company that shows up and says you need a $300 system or $300,000 system. We need to have set definitions for what we want. We have to say we want 7 mics, 1 wireless, things like that before we can go to bids. Then we know everybody's bidding on the same thing. Brand names will be different. It'll be the exact same basic product all throughout the board.
So you want us to go further with this then? Get a couple more proposals, see what we can, if somebody comes up with something different?
Okay, why don't we just clarify it for everybody else that maybe doesn't understand. You had a recorder. What was wrong with the recorder? You've got the voice on there. Can you just explain that, no? That versus having a camera. I mean, if somebody wants to get out of control, I mean, you've got it right there, and you can go back onto it. This is exactly what you're going to have to go back on your video cam. I mean, explain it so that everybody can understand it, because I think there's might be a little miscommunication here of voice recording versus why do we need a camera to come up with a meeting. So explain that, and everybody might be cool.
Can I address that, or
Yeah, go
do
ahead.
you want to?
Go ahead. It's all yours.
The trouble with only audio is that there is a high probability of, at one point or another, the person's voice is going to be incorrectly identified, should it become an issue. Now, that's not to say that there's going to be an issue, but you need to be able to identify the people. And if you have a video recording and you have them talking, it's indisputable.
Okay, explain it.
It's part of the public record. Then.
You explained it, but I don't.
Well, you don't have to buy it.
I know, I don't buy it, but thank you for explaining it. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, one of the objectives of this meeting was to put Kyle out of business. Well, let's face the facts. There's a good-sized resentment against an individual, and unless the township has video recording of suitable quality, suitable at the time, it can be archived and all that nonsense, and can be used in a court of law if necessary, he's not going to go away. He's going to stand there always. And if he keeps it up, I'm going to bring mine, tripod, and everything else. We're all going to do it.
Why can't we just invest in a camera like that then?
Makes sense. Kyle will just do it.
Why can't the township just invest in a camera like that?
Save the money.
It's a bare bones option.
I mean, if they can put these on the internet, these videos on the internet, and why can't we do the same thing with a small camera like that?
Marty, start with the basics. We have to provide the people with roads and emergency service protection, and we have to make them kind of go downhill. I think they just hired Kyle to put his camera back there and take pictures, and then turn and put the tape in the record.
I just began, excuse me, Mr. Chairman. I always thought that we were just going to, we were really going to put the camera in the back and facing us, and then all of a sudden
That was the
We had a
original.
committee going in the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. Can I make a point?
Yeah.
The problem with having Kyle do it is because he's a citizen, and there are questions as to whether, if it's not officially done by the township, okay, there's nothing, and this is not an aspersion, I promise you.
I understand.
There are questions whether or not legally he can edit, change, do whatever he wants to do. And the difference with having an official record that is done by somebody either employed by the township or have something out there that automatically records. And maybe we can do it,
Could we just
you know,
leave
for a
the
lot
camera
cheaper.
up there?
That's what I said, just take a tripod, sit in the back of the room, and we're set. And we've got the tape to match the voice. We don't need a whole fancy sound system. You got a camera, you got a tape recorder. What else do you need?
Going back to that proposal there, there were all those items on there, and that was for all the bells and whistles. We can fillet that down to just what we want. We can fillet it down to just a camera and a mic,
Yeah,
if we wanted to.
and that's the board's decision to make.
Right, but again, this is a proposal because they didn't have guidance of really what we wanted.
I understand.
So that's where we're going back to the committee to get to their goals.
Just a comment that we might solve your problem at this time until you get something in place. If you do put it in place with video recording, why don't you just make it a set thing that if you get up to talk, you identify yourself by full name, first name, last name. That goes on the video recording. That at least solves that for the time being. Give yourself some time to figure it out. And you tell people, you get up to talk, you tell me your name, and then you can talk and say what you want. That puts it on the audio. Now you can think more about what do you really, truly need. And I'll tell you right now, I don't think we need a bells and whistles system. And my objection, and I am the one who brought it up on video recording, is that because it's an individual, it's exactly what was said. You don't know that what that individual, whether it be Kyle or anyone else, you don't know what they put on the internet because it is editable. They can change it to almost anything they want. Now, I'm not saying Kyle did that or will do it. I'm saying it is possible, just as was just stated. But make it simple. Make people identify themselves.
Well, Mary, do you think, well, all three of you actually, do you think you got kind of the direction that you need right now?
Yep, I think so. Don't you?
Yes.
So we'll go for something smaller scale. We'll get a couple of other bids, if that's okay, that kind of is comparable to this, just to see if we get some other ideas, and then we can pare it down to whatever you guys want to do.
I got a Mr. Microphone, I can put any radio in here. No.
Okay. Well, give the direction they need.
Okay.
So, moving on. Code of ethics.
I have not put anything derogatory about the code of ethics as of written, so, but I didn't put it in the packet, sorry. I will make sure I have it in your packet. And with the township lawyers, I did try to get a hold of them today. I did not have the number with me. I looked them up in the phone book, and apparently that's not his number anymore because he told me it was disconnected. And it could be because it was an affirmed versus now he's out on his own. My suggestion would be that we may want to go with Brian Brown simply because he has already attended one of our meetings. He knows kind of where we're going. But as I said, I tried to get, he was the one I was trying to get hourly quotes or something comparable to that. And I did take a week off this month, so I'm a little bit behind. I held it off a little bit too long. I apologize.
If you guys want me to look into that, I can. I've got time to do that.
I will get with you maybe over the weekend and we can go ahead and say what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair,
Gotcha.
can I make a motion tonight about, as far as questions to an attorney and answers, even though we don't have an attorney yet? That, it includes Matt attorneys also.